maybe like the women's tournament with Geno Auriemma, Dawn Staley. That was wild. I'm watching the game, and I found myself rooting for South Carolina because of the way they played. They were playing great. They were playing hard. But if UConn won and continued to win, and then matched up with UCLA, I would have been fine with that. But once again, I'm rooting for the story. And I thought Dawn Staley's team put on a defensive clinic. This is where you have a team that is not in tight games the entire year. They're probably not roughed up the entire year. They're not pushed. Nobody ripped anybody's jersey. That was Sarah Strong who did that to herself. But Geno, when he did that interview with Holly Rowe, I go, oh, he knows he's in trouble. And I thought, South Carolina's going to win this game. In fact, Paulie goes, I got Connecticut winning by 3, I think. And I go, pie to the face? And Paulie goes, well, I don't feel that confident.
Not that confident.
No. And I go, South Carolina was the better team that night. Now, if they play 7 games, UConn's a better team. UConn got surprised, and I think Geno knew. Geno's mad because he lost, but he's, I think, really mad because he lost to Dawn Staley. And Dawn Staley is not afraid. Geno, greatest women's coach of all time. Dawn Staley doesn't take a backseat to anybody. And her style, the players, they played hard. That was a team effort, and they were beating Connecticut to spaces on the floor. They were being physical. And that's one of those where you roll the dice, where you go, will they let us play? Or are they going to call this? Because if they call it ticky-tack, that game would be different. They allowed South Carolina to play the way South Carolina wanted to play. It's almost like the Legion of Boom with the Seattle Seahawks. If you let Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas play this way, they will play this way and they'll beat you. But if you call it, now all of a sudden it's different. But here is Geno Auriemma talking about why he was upset with Dawn Staley.
For 41 years, I've been coaching, and I've been, 25 Final Fours. And the protocol is, before the game, you meet at half court. Anybody ever see that before? 2 coaches meet at half court and they shake hands. Correct? You ever see it? They announce it on the loudspeaker. And I waited there for like 3 minutes. So it is what it is.
All right, here is Dawn Staley post-game with the interaction with Geno Auriemma.
You can ask Geno the question. He's the one that initiated the conversation. I don't want, what happened there to dampen what we were able to accomplish today.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what was going on, what was said, but then in his interview with Holly Rowe, he was talking about the language Dawn Staley was using towards the official. Somebody ripped Sarah Strong's jersey, talking about the fouls. It was a double standard. So there was a lot going on in that moment. And I thought, man, he is losing composure here. And you could tell that because I think he was, I don't know why he would say this to Holly Rowe in the moment. She can't do anything. She can't change anything. That's where you got to talk to the officials to try to get them to understand what's going on. But, hey, Geno should be criticized. I always say these head coaches always are preaching composure. They want their players to be cool under fire. Hey, don't let the pressure get to you. The coaches, they're the ones you got to watch out for. They don't do well under pressure. And that happened to Geno. He melted down right there in front of us. Greatest coach, women's basketball history. Dawn Staley, that's who she is. She's not afraid of anybody. But I think South Carolina played their national title game against Connecticut, and then all of a sudden UCLA said, oh, by the way, you got to play us for the national title. And they demolished them. I mean, give credit, UCLA. Hey, the Big Ten wins another national championship. They long-standing UCLA Bruins of the Big Ten. It was like when I saw, the Big Ten with a national title, I go, who? Oh, that's right, UCLA. Long-standing member of the Big Ten. Yes, Paul?
It felt on Sunday like UCLA had 7 players on the court. It was just a swarm the whole game.
Yeah.
Fun game. It was never a game, and that was the disappointing part.
Aaron in California. Good morning, Aaron. What's on your mind?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'd like to share a quick best and worst of the weekend and also an important fact about corduroys.
Okay.
Hey, you said it, best of the weekend, statement win for UCLA for the women's side. Amazing win for those ladies. Congratulations. On the worst, how can we not be talking about Geno Auriemma coming after Dawn Staley in the most pathetic show of fragile ego syndrome and poor sportsmanship with no consequences? If that had been Dawn Staley, people would be calling for her head. So I think we should be acknowledging how poor that was. But my important fact about corduroys, gentlemen, I heard stripes this morning. Hey, I may be dating myself, but corduroys are called whale, W-A-L-E, as in narrow whale or wide whale. So, Dan, as a fan, I thought you might like to know that.
Okay. I think Paulie said that when he first realized that I had a corduroy problem.
I love haberdashery.
Yeah. And my daughters want to have a corduroy intervention. And I was like, you mean I need more? I'll take more corduroy. The Geno thing, we talked about it in the first hour of the program. I mean, I was embarrassed for him. And I don't know what they're going to do to him. I mean, I think the damage is done to him by himself. Season's over. I don't know. Does this hurt recruiting? I just wish he would have mentioned Dawn Staley's name. In the apology, mention her name, or it doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't mean anything. And maybe even if he mentions Dawn's name, it doesn't mean anything. It's just you don't play with Dawn Staley. Geno, that resume, unapproachable. But that's what's surprising. Act like that. Act like the greatest coach in the game. Nothing's given to you. You know that. You built this program. But when you act entitled like he did, then people are going to come after you. Now, I don't like Dawn Staley saying what she said about, hey, I'm going to beat his ass. Like, that's not good. Not good. Because if it was the other way and Geno said that, then, sky would be falling. I wanted her to be more professional as well. But he started this. The handshake. She shook everybody's hand prior to the game, the scores table. If she was late, is that, like, Geno, it felt like that bothered him more than the way his team played? That's the problem I have. Focus on your team. He focused on her, and she outcoached him. Yes, Eaton.
Yeah, I mean, part of me is like, it's the sometimes it's the reaction, not the first incident, that gets the most trouble. It's definitely an embarrassing moment for everybody involved. I'm curious to know how long that stain stays.
Well, the next time they play. Now, if you're college basketball, what's the first game you want next year? You open the season.
The Handshake Classic.
All-State.
Yes. You're in good hands, Shakes.
Yes. Marvin is there. You hand out the first handshake?
Oh, you got jokes? But yes, I'm in.
Yeah.